Hey there, welcome back to Total Geek Live, Baltimore Presents. I'm Baltimore, and today I'm going to bring you the final piece of the trilogy for the Messiah complex, which is X-Men Second Coming. So yeah, they went really hard in the Messiah, analogies. So this is the Second Coming. So this is the 2010 crossover, which takes place in the X-Men universe, and it's really kind of cool and a lot of fun. And one of the things I talked about before is like this is the great kind of 90s throwback crossover that's really exciting because each title was connected. Each title, was a part of this crossover. And so each week you had a new chapter in the thing in the story. And that's really awesome because I really love that kind of thing, that kind of um, overall narrative technique. I think it was really cool and great that they were able to get it done like that. So we have Craig Kyle and Chris Yost on this. We have Mike Carey. We have Matt Fraction, Zeb Wells. Those are the writers for the event series. We have for art, we have David Finch. We have Terry Dodson. We have Mike Choi, Greg Land, Abraham Roberson. So the art was really exciting, very fun. And I know that I've talked about in the past, like sometimes because say David Finch was only doing Uncanny X-Men and Greg Land was doing X-Men, regular X-Men. Sometimes there would be kind of like a disconnect between the two series or between each chapter. But this was actually not the case. They actually kind of melded fairly well. So it was kind of a seamless for each artist in each book. So I was really excited for that. So these books affected was Uncanny X-Men, New Mutants, X-Men Legacy, and X-Force. So those are the titles, that 4 titles each month you got. And then as a bonus part, we got some miniseries out of this. We had X-Men Hellbound, which took a group of X-Men to Limbo, which was awesome. We had a one-shot called Blind Science, which looked at the science club trying to figure out what's going on and using their science to figure things out and save the day. And then you had X Factor being a part of it, not actually as the chapters, but in their own kind of self-contained story, but relevant to Second Coming. And that's really awesome. I kind of like that was still included into it, even if it wasn't part of the main titles that were going forth. So that was really cool. I love that. So basically, in the future, wherever Cable and Hope are, she's decided that she's ready to come back. She's tired of staying there, and she's going to embrace her destiny and come back. And I think she's like 16 or 17 at the time. I can't quite remember her exact age. But they both teleport, time travel back in time into the present, and are holed out in a motel in America somewhere. And that's where the bad characters come into this. You have Bastion, you have Stephen Lang, Bolivar Trask, William Stryker, Graydon Creed, and Cameron Hodge. And the kind of like, wait a second moment is they're all dead. They've all been killed once, twice, maybe more throughout their history. But they're all back. And these are probably some of the X-Men's worst villains that are humans, with the exception of Bastion, who's a Sentinel character. But they, it's kind of bad. These are not, they're no lightweights, basically. They have a lot of things behind them to kind of push them forward. So the Pure Fighters immediately set up fight against Cable and Hope. They know where they are. And the X-Men are alerted to this and send their, like big power team after them, which would be Wolverine, X-23, Angel, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, and Magic. And they're trying to all save Hope and get her back to Utopia. Because at this time, all the X-Men have relocated to the West Coast, to San Francisco, into this island that they've created. And part 1 of the plan for the evil guys is take out their teleporters. Don't allow them to teleport. Well, X-Men are pretty, overflowing with teleporters. So that's, like 4 or 5 characters they have to deal with. So they send Magic to Limbo and make her, kind of stuck there. So they get rid of her that way. Then they kind of try to take out Nightcrawler, but he's kind of escapes with Rogue, and they take Hope, and they're trying to get across the country back to San Francisco, with Bastion and the others hot on their trail. We have Ariel, who was kind of like a former. She wasn't around a lot. She was a New Mutants character, and then she kind of came back in. She's a teleporter, and basically she gets there's a missile and explodes and it kills her. So they get rid of her that way. Pixie is taken out. Nightcrawler, like we said, is getting pursued. So they're trying to figure it out. Cyclops back on Utopia is saying we need to really kind of figure out what's going on and kind of figure out what's happening. He sends the New Mutants team, all of them, to attack Hodge and figure out and try to figure out what they're doing and stop them that way. And for the most part, they are able to stop it. However, and Cameron Hodge is there, and he ends up basically slicing Karma's leg off. It's injured. It's not able to be repaired. She ends up having to lose her leg, and that's like, wow, that's a major ramification that you didn't think was going to happen. And it's something that that's stayed with. She hasn't had it, magically mutant healed or anything. She has now a robotic, left leg, and it makes her a little more badass. Then you have Bastion going about to try to kill Hope, and when he's about to reach out to kill her, Nightcrawler teleports in between them, and actually teleports his body in front of him. So his body is teleported into the hand, and he is basically killed. And with his last bit of reserve power and everything, he teleports her to Utopia and then dies. And it's awful. And it's one of those things that a character for so many years and there's such a love and a appreciation for him. When you see that they're actually dead, everything kind of just like stops. And you're like, wow. Of course, he's back now, of course, so it's comics. But that still didn't take away the effect of it. It certainly, had that kind of moment. And this is where you kind of see the startings of the schism that will happen. Beast blames Cyclops for this death, and their tension, really rises. Then they are trapped in an energy dome. An energy dome encircles Utopia all the way to the bottom, and I think it's like every hour or every few hours, a group of Sentinels from the future come to fight them. And it's awful. They're like doing serious battle with them. And, Hellion, who is a telekinetic, one of the students, loses his arms and has to, get robotic sort of arms to kind of take care of it. And there's some like major ramifications from that. The team I talked about earlier in the limited series Hellbound, you have Cannonball leading North Star, Dazzler, which is a great combo, Pixie, Gambit, Anole, and Trance, all the way to Limbo to try to save Magic and get her back and stop, her from being, harmed further. And then you have, back on Utopia, they decide to put a team together to go to the future to stop them from sending the Sentinels back to kill them, because otherwise they're going to keep dying. And Cyclops decides he's going to send the X-Force team with Cable into the future, into this pocket future, and stop them. And he ends up asking Cypher to go along with him. Because Cypher can kind of decode the languages. He's got great at that. He's got the transmode virus, and got everything to kind of debilitate the Sentinels. And there's this great scene in the cafeteria where Danny Moonstar confronts Cable about this and Hope, and basically saying, "You don't care about us." And there's a great moment because I am not a fan of Hope. I don't think she's worthwhile character. I don't really kind of see the value in her. I don't love the stories that she's in. It's kind of, she's always kind of been placed as a placeholder for Jean Grey, and when she when that did not turn out to be the case, she's just another redhead, and they have so many redheads. Why did they need another one? But there's a great moment between Danny Moonstar and Hope, and I love it. I'm just like, yes, yes, Danny. Um, so they end up sending them to the future. Cypher was able to kind of take care of the Sentinels and stop that from happening, and so basically save the day. They come back, and basically Hope uses her mimic powers, because that's her power from the beginning. She's able to mimic the powers of anyone she comes in contact, which is interesting, that because the first person she really came into contact with was Rogue. So it's kind of like a cool symmetry going on there. So she uses her mimic powers to kind of really destroy the Sentinels and take the day and kill off the people that were still attacking them, and stop the dome, and release release Utopia from that prison. So Second Coming, I really did like it. If I'm not giving that kind of impression, I thought it was fun and exciting. I love the limited series. You have to check out Hellbound. You have to check out X Factor's 3 issues for this. They were really, really great. On a whole, I thought Second Coming was fascinating. I thought it was, a good close to the trilogy. Much better than Messiah War, if I'm being honest. But these are collected, I think, in 2 different, collections. I think you can get the limited series, and then you can get the main crossover issues. But I definitely think that you should, pick it up if you have a chance. I think it's a really great series, and full of great character moments and kind of those really great things that X-Men are known for. That kind of soap drama, that kind of really tugging at your emotions, along with high octane energy, action, and fighting. But let me know what you think about Second Coming. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Let me know in the comments. Sound off below. You like, subscribe, and share, and I'll be back again. And as always, it's all geek to us. See you soon.